Welcome back to Joyfully at Home. Today we are going to be making peanut butter surprise cookies, which are chocolate cookies with a soft peanut butter center. But first, before we get into that, I wanted to just thank all my new subscribers. We've hit my first milestone of 100 subscribers, and I do appreciate everybody that's subscribed up till now. And if you like these videos, keep liking and recommending your friends to subscribe, and we'll keep adding more new content every week. Now, these cookies are a two-step process type of cookie. They're wonderful in the way that they have a super soft, melty peanut butter center. And we start off with 1.25 cups of creamy peanut butter. And to that, we go ahead and we add 1/3 cup of powdered sugar. We go ahead and combine our powdered sugar and our peanut butter, and then we will create the centers to our cookie. We need to make sure that we get this mixed up nicely, and then we will freeze our centers just so they're nice and hard, and then they bake right inside our cookie. Now, to go ahead and make our centers for our cookies, we'll take a 2-tablespoon cookie scoop, or you can even take a teaspoon, a regular size teaspoon. It's fine. The size of your centers are an approximate size. It's not an exact science. So if all you have is a regular teaspoon, then you can use that as well. It's not crucial. So you just take a small scoop of your peanut butter filling and drop it onto a parchment lined pan. And you keep doing that until you have 18 centers. Try to make them approximately the same size so they'll freeze at the same rate. If you get some that are a little bit bigger, it's okay. And just try to make them all pretty close to the same size. And you will get 18 centers for your cookies. When you have your 18 centers scooped up and on your parchment paper, then you're going to go ahead and take these centers, and while you're making the rest of your cookie dough, you're going to go ahead and put these in your freezer for about 30 minutes until they get stiff and they harden up a little bit. So we'll go ahead and put these in the freezer now, and then we'll be ready to put the cookie dough over them here in about 30 minutes. Now, while our centers of our cookies are freezing and getting nice and hard, we're going to put together our cookie dough for the outside of our peanut butter surprise cookies. And we're going to start with 1.5 sticks of butter. Just put that right into your mixer bowl. And we'll go ahead and we will add our sugars to that, which is 3/4 cup of packed brown sugar and 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. We'll go ahead and we will combine those until they're both creamed together. And then we'll continue on from there. Now that our butter and our sugars are creamed together nicely, we're going to add 1 large egg to our butter and sugar mixture. Make sure you scrape off your paddle a little bit or your beaters. Make sure all your sugar mixture is nicely in the bottom of your mixer bowl before you start mixing again. This time, you'll mix until you get a nice creamy mixture of all your sugars, butter, and egg. Now that we have our egg, our sugar, and our butters all creamed together, we're going to go ahead and add our dry ingredients. This is going to make a very thick and stiff cookie dough. that's going to be very rich and chocolatey. So we're going to add our flour, 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened cocoa, teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of baking soda. Once you have those in your mixer bowl, you go ahead and mix again until everything is well combined. Always make sure when you start your mixer, especially with something like a cocoa powder or even a confectioner's sugar, always start your mixer off on low. You'll never want to start it off on a high speed because it's so light and so powdery that you'll make a giant mess. I've done it many a time, so make sure you always start your mixer off on low to start incorporating those powders before you turn your mixer speed on. Now, as you can see, your finished dough for the outer part of your cookie is very thick and very fudgy. That is the way your cookie dough should look. It's nice and thick and fudgy. And when we go to do this to our centers, we're going to take a nice big heaping scoop of cookie dough. And same scoop that we used before, and just take a nice heaping scoop around one of our centers. So what we will do is take a scoop, put it in the center of your hand, start to flatten it down into a disc. It won't really stick to your hand. It'll get a little bit messy, but not too bad. Take one of your frozen centers, put it in the center of your cookie dough, and just fold it right up around it. And then just smooth your cookie out into a ball shape. From there, you're going to want to roll that cookie dough ball into granulated sugar and place on a pan lined with parchment. Now, if you get approximately half the way done with your cookies, occasionally I've found that sometimes you have to put your peanut butter centers back in the freezer for a short time. It depends on how warm your house is and also how warm your hands are while you're going ahead and making your cookies. So it is possible to need to put these back in the freezer for just a couple minutes while you finish your cookies up. Sometimes it's needed, sometimes it's not. Just depends on the warmth. But we're doing really well right now, and we're almost done filling our cookies. Now that we have all of our cookies rolled and stuffed with our peanut butter filling, we've got them all here on our parchment paper, all rolled in granulated sugar. We're going to go ahead and put them in a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes. You're going to know when these are done because the edges of them will just be set. They'll just start to have a little bit of stiffness to them. You do not want to overbake these because that center is still going to be nice and gooey if your edges are just set. So now we're going to go ahead and put them in the oven, and we'll see them again when they're done.